Spin move, had opportunity and just got down, and I knew, once you get the first down, that secures a win.
What are you going to say to those fantasy fans that have you?
I know the fantasy fans are going to be a little upset about that, but I got a job to do, and that's to do whatever I can to help my team win a football game. And anytime, you can make a play that can secure a victory, you got to do that.
Sunday Scaries, weekend hangover.
That's Saquon Barkley talking about the knee he took. And by the way, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Like, we love the production. We would have loved the touchdown. But the most important thing is securing the win, something Nick Chubb did not do early in the season against both of your Jets. Both of you guys, of course, lifelong Jets fans. And by the way, this all started, when Brian Westbrook took a knee, the most famous knee in fantasy football history. We talked about that with him, Connor, on Sunday's fantasy football pregame show.
Absolutely. Let's take a look as Westbrook joined the guys in Philadelphia.
You actually started a trend. While it was frustrating for fantasy managers, we've seen Todd Gurley do it. We've seen Maurice Jones-Drew do it, and Nick Chubb should have done it.
Should have done it. That's
Nick
right.
Chubb should, and that
cost
was
him the game.
100% cost him the game.
In that moment, you've been taught your whole career to score. Yeah. That's the only thing, and so it's normally you need a brain tap. John Runyon did give me that brain tap before the play, and when I was running down, no one's in front of me. I'm looking back. I see 6'7" John Runyon saying, "Get down, get down," and that kind of persuades you to do the right thing.
Yeah, John Runyon could tell me do anything, and I would do it.
Factually correct. By the way, that's why I'm hosting this show. John Runyon said, listen, you're leaving ESPN, you're going to NBC, and you're going to host a show. I'm like, yes, sir.
Very interesting, Matthew. You're so on board with Saquon taking that knee when we're playing each other in fantasy this week, and I've got Saquon Barkley on my team. So I think a little bit of subjective bias there.
That's factually correct, by the way. And Gallup not showing up last night. I think you're going to ultimately end up winning. I don't know if you heard this, but so it's a 14-team 2-quarterback league that Jay and I are playing in with all the show
I'm
staff.
in it.
Oh, you're in that league?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. It's 14 teams. I wasn't told to learn everyone's names. 14 teams.
I'm Red Rifle's return.
Is that who you are?
I had to stream Andy Dalton one week. Down in the real depths.
Is that's his name, Red Rifle?
You should change your name to his actual nickname.
Anyway, so
incredible.
So did you see the freaking transactions? The malfeasance, the skullduggery,
I think I missed
the treason.
this. No.
He basically picked up like every available quarterback on the free agent wire because I have Dak's hurt in that league, and I have Goff as my second QB, and Goff is on a bye. So, I mean, I have Lamar, who had another bad game, didn't have a Lamar-type game. And so I luckily somehow found Bailey Zappi, who
He didn't show up.
No, Bailey Zappi showed up. Bailey Zappi had a better game than Lamar Jackson.
He didn't show up for me when I was trying to block you on every quarterback.
I
I got PJ Walker.
Well, I'm saying, what level are we talking about here? PJ Walker?
Pacheco for PJ Walker.
Yeah, exactly.
Who did nothing. I should have let you pick him up.
You should have. And by the way, because by the way, I would have. I probably would have instead of Bailey Zappi on the road at Cleveland. Ended up working out, though, because I think you are going to sneak out with a victory. I had everyone on a bye and hurt and angered, and this is exciting. I didn't know Connor was in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's somebody else to trade with.
Yeah.
So 14 people in the league. I don't know.
He's got a lot of Jets on his team. Yeah.
I basically just know you and B. Rubes. That's pretty much it. All right.
I'm going back
by
to
the way,
Connor's
speaking of leagues, before we move on to actual conversation, Danielle would like her name cleared. She did, despite benching Tyreek Hill, she still won. She still won. She's upset at Jay for throwing her under the bus, but
it's brutal.
It's her first. Well, it's her first time watching the show. She doesn't understand that's in character for Jay.
Yes.
Jay
brand.
He's done on brand.
Jay and Sauce Gardner, villains of the week.
Yes,
he totally
exactly.
is.
Villains of the season.
Cheesehead brothers.
Exactly.
All right, let's move
guy.
into some of the Sunday Scaries, and who better to start with than Tom Brady, who had a lot of fun at a wedding earlier in the weekend, but it did not carry over into Sunday.
Did you know? So Brady went to the wedding on Friday night. Like, he was in the Robert Kraft wedding that was in Page 6 and everywhere. Belichick did not.
Yes.
Belichick politely declined. It's football season. I got a game Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, Brady, after the loss to Pittsburgh, said, quote, "I think we're all playing less than what we're capable of, and we've all got to look at ourselves in the mirror and figure out why." I mean, I don't know if that's a reason why, but it's certainly, it doesn't look great, obviously, after a tough loss on the road at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Bucs' offensive line is having all kinds of problems, and we know his history has told us as soon as that happens for Tom Brady, obviously he's going to be in trouble here. So it's not obviously not just Brady; it's a lot bigger than Brady, but they have a lot to figure out right now. And it's interesting to hear Todd Bowles after the game saying a lot of guys are still living off of that Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, I think one of the most interesting kind of conversations around betting is how do you price in like emotional factors, like everything that's happening with Tom Brady. Wedding, like just all the stuff around Tampa Bay has just been bad this year. And for the most part, I say you don't price it in because I don't think Kobe and Shaq really liked each other that much. They won 3 titles together. I think the bigger problem for Tampa Bay is their offensive line, but it's something you kind of just think about. There's a lot of bad mojo around the Bucs right now.
But this is a team, listen, think the Steelers are a team that once TJ Watt went down, could not get pressure. Yeah. Like they really struggled, and yet they had a 25% pressure rate against the Bucs in Week 6. Brady took 2 sacks, but to your point, he was constantly under pressure. We've always said this, like if there's one flaw in Tom Brady's game, it's that when he's under pressure, like especially right up the middle, that's the one way to sort of slow him down, and it certainly happened. I'm still starting him. He's gonna make the love list next week at Carolina. You know, I don't think he has 2 bad games in a row. But yes, tough day at the office for Brady. Godwin, Evans, big game for Leonard Fournette here.
Barry, you brought up Belichick skipping the Kraft wedding, and that made a hell of a day for Nick Chubb. First game of the year with under 50 fantasy points this season.
Yeah, I mean, like just bad day at the office, not worried about it as well. He still had the highest running back rush share of the season. He had 75%. I mean, Kareem Hunt was a total no-show in this game, and I think it was just this game got out of hand quickly. You can't stop Bailey Zappi. You can only hope to control him. You can only hope to contain him, right? Shout out to our peacock mate, Dan Patrick. That's his phrase. I think this is just a bad day at the office. Yeah. Honestly, tough defense. Patriots came in. He played well. I'm not worried about it.
I agree. I do think that with Chubb, who is still obviously an elite running back, he's starting Nick Chubb every week. I don't think he's quite as, say, his production isn't as resilient as, say, Jonathan Taylor last year or Derrick Henry in the first half of last year, just because game script with Jacoby Brissett and also with Kareem Hunt, who just usually gobbles up his carries. So there will be games like this going forward.
He doesn't have really any passing game usage, and so he's masked that by insane volume and a lot of touchdown equity, which I believe will continue. Just a bad day at the office. But yes, to your point, he is not. The floor isn't as high with Chubb as it may be with some other elite running backs. But make no mistake, he is still an elite running back, both in real life and fantasy.
Yep.
Jay, your Falcons shutting down Jeff Wilson. And this was the most interesting thing about Jeff Wilson is just the decrease in workload from him in this game. We know they have some running backs that are trying to come off the IR and get healthy. What is our outlook on Jeff Wilson these next couple weeks?
Yeah, I just think he's a game script. He's more game script dependent than your elite running backs. I still think that, usually in a game against, say, the Atlanta Falcons, typically you would expect that he's going to have a big game because he's going to be running the ball. But, they played the Chiefs this week. That doesn't look like it's going to be a great game script game. So I still think you're starting Jeff Wilson against the Chiefs. You're feeling very good if he's in your flex, and you could take him as an low-end RB2 probably. But, yeah, I just think that we've seen that, he is dependent on game script. He's not just going to wreak havoc every week.
I think if there's a positive to take away, and there's not much. He also lost a fumble in this game, so just the numbers just aren't there. As we enter Monday night, he's running back 59.
There you go.
Right, but I think there's a positive here. It's not like Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman, who was great 2 weeks ago, suddenly did something, 4 carries for 3 yards against the Falcons, right? Deebo Samuel got only 2 carries in the backfield. Tyrion Davis-Price was active for this game. He didn't do anything either. So it's not like, we've seen this before with Kyle Shanahan, like, the starter doesn't have a great game, but somebody else stepped up. Yep. No one could run against the Falcons. My expectation is that Jeff Wilson is still a starter and get the majority of work against KC in Week 7.
A hot start to the season for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who had 15-plus fantasy points in 3 of those first 4 weeks, but not much cooking lately, Barry. You were kind of on the sell high while you can with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Expect weeks like this going forward.
Yeah, the usage hasn't been there for CEH. It was all, almost 50% of his fantasy points were touchdown related. And so when it's all touchdowns, like it's one thing if you're James Conner or Derrick Henry and you're getting all this goal line work, but it was sort of fluky here. If there's something to hang your hat on, it's the fact that he got the majority of carries for the Chiefs, but 9. Once again, by the way, hitting the under of 9.5. Like there's 1 week this entire season in which he went over 9.5 rushing yards. We're 6 weeks into the season, and of course it was the week against Tampa Bay on the road at Tampa Bay when I was on national TV saying take the under. Like,
yeah.
hate CEH. He's currently running back 46 over the last 2 weeks. There was one goal line snap in this game. It went to Jerick McKinnon as well.
Yes, it does.
Last 2 weeks, fewer than 7 fantasy points in each one. I said this on Fantasy Football pregame about CEH against the Bills, which was a tough matchup, and I continue to say that there will be games in which a Chiefs running back has a big game. And some weeks it'll be CEH, some weeks it'll be McKinnon, but it feels a little bit like a hot hand here. And yes, your window to get out of CEH at a top 15 price, I think, is closed. He's now like a hope for a touchdown flex.
Yep. It's crazy that on a Patrick Mahomes team, I think Mahomes and Kelsey are the only guys you're really happy with starting, and then Juju and CH you can take as a flex, but you're not super excited about it. Now, Elijah Moore, Connor, your thoughts. What's happening with Elijah Moore? What's happening with all the pass catches in New York?
We're entering drop territory for Elijah Moore. No targets in this game. No receiving, no touchdowns, no catches, no targets in this game. It's pretty simple with Elijah Moore. He's out there. He has route actually decreased in this game. Snaps decreased. He played 30, about 55 offensive snaps. But when he's out there, he doesn't play in the slot, which is his strength. He plays out wide, and he's clearing out space. They try to get Garrett Wilson over the middle of the field, and they try to throw the running backs. There's nothing cooking for Elijah Moore right now, and I haven't seen any reason why that's going to change.
Because they're winning.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
exactly.
It's exactly right. Like, in all seriousness, it really should be. He should go on Keyshawn's radio show and just be like, yeah,
throw me the damn ball.
Throw me the damn ball. I'm not dropping him in Dynasty, but yes, in redraft, when we get when we do the Welcome to Nunsville Population U tomorrow on waiver wire, Elijah Moore will be on it, as will DJ Moore, who struggled once again. It's just a disaster in Carolina.
All right, we're going to break. When we are back, it is time for Last Call. Monday Night Football props coming your way.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.